There comes a moment in life that is almost invisible from the outside. Nothing dramatic happens, no announcement, no sudden transformation, and yet, something inside becomes quieter. Not because the world changed, but because you stopped trying so hard to change yourself for it. For a long time, many of us live as careful versions of who we are, adjusting our tone, choosing safer words, laughing at things that don't feel funny, agreeing just enough to belong, not pretending completely, just editing ourselves. Small adjustments made so often they begin to feel normal. You learn which parts of you are easy for others, which emotions are acceptable, which thoughts should stay unspoken. And slowly, without noticing, life becomes a performance so subtle you forget there was ever an audience. I remember feeling tired in a way that rest didn't fix. Nothing was technically wrong. I had conversations, responsibilities, plans for the future. But underneath everything was a quiet tension, as if I were always slightly preparing to be understood, instead of simply existing. It took me years to realize how much energy it takes to constantly adjust your nature, to monitor reactions, to soften opinions, to appear comfortable when something inside feels misaligned. And one day, almost accidentally, I stopped trying. Not out of rebellion, not because I became braver overnight, but because I became tired enough to be honest. I stopped forcing conversations that drained me, stopped explaining myself endlessly, stopped pretending certain environments felt right when they didn't. At first, it felt uncomfortable, quieter, smaller. Some connections faded, some people seemed confused, and for a moment, I wondered if being myself meant becoming alone. But something unexpected happened. The tension disappeared. Not completely, but enough to notice the difference. I no longer felt like I was watching my own life from slightly outside of it. There was relief in not performing, relief in pauses, in honest silence, in saying less but meaning more. Being yourself is rarely loud. It doesn't always look confident or certain. Sometimes it simply means not forcing enthusiasm you don't feel, not shrinking curiosity, not apologizing for needing quiet. It means allowing your natural rhythm to exist without constant correction. And strangely, life becomes softer there. You begin choosing spaces differently, not based on where you should belong, but where your nervous system relaxes. You notice conversations that feel easy, moments where silence isn't awkward, people who don't require translation. Connection stops feeling like effort. It starts feeling like recognition. I used to believe becoming yourself was a destination, a final version waiting somewhere ahead. But now it feels more like subtraction, letting go of expectations that never belonged to you, releasing roles you accepted without question, allowing your personality to unfold at its own pace. And with that comes a quiet kind of peace, not excitement, not perfection, just the absence of constant self-correction. What if the relief you're searching for is not in becoming someone new, but in stopping the work of being someone else? What if nothing is wrong with you because you never fully fit certain spaces? What if your exhaustion was never weakness, but the weight of pretending too long? Maybe being yourself is not something you achieve. Maybe it's something that appears when you finally feel safe enough to stop hiding. And maybe the life that feels right doesn't begin with changing who you are, but with allowing who you are to remain. I wonder, when do you feel most like yourself? When you are alone, or when you are with someone who lets you be quiet without explanation? I will be here again soon. Until then, take gentle care of yourself.